Hey guys, welcome to day 2 of Vlogmas. Today I'll be showing you guys my everyday skincare and makeup routine. This is an updated routine specifically for winter because I feel like my routine's changed a little bit with the products that I use, and also I just haven't filmed a makeup routine video in ages, so I thought it'd be fun. So I'll be taking you through all of the different products that I use, all of the different steps to do this basically every single day. Okay, so we're gonna start with skincare. I'm not gonna lie, my skincare routine isn't really a routine because I haven't been sticking to it at all. Like if I am running late or I just can't be bothered, I'll just put moisturiser on in the morning and leave it at that. But I should really do my whole skincare routine every day because I have so much skincare, why would I not use it? But half the time, if I can't be bothered, I'll just use moisturiser. So for the purpose of today's video, I am going to do my full routine, but keep in mind that it's very often I don't actually do all of this. I'll just do the one step rather than the entire routine. Right, I'm going to put my headband on. This needs washing. The amount of makeup on this is kind of gross. Also, my vanity is like my window's here, so if I get weird shadows on the side of my face, just ignore that. It's because of the lighting. Unfortunately, my ring light bulbs have blown and I don't even know where to get new bulbs or if I can replace them in my old ring light. So I have this new little clip-on light, which I used to use for just filming TikToks. I don't think it's doing very much to help, to be honest with you. First thing is the Ordinary caffeine solution. This is supposed to be good for getting rid of dark circles. I'm just tapping it in with my ring finger. Sometimes I'll use my jade roller and roll it in, but I don't know where it is. It might still be in the freezer. And then the second thing, also from the Ordinary, hyaluronic acid. This is so good during the winter when my skin is super dry, because it's just an extra bonus product for hydration. Because I tell you what, my skin, it's dry anyway, but it gets so bad in the winter, and especially because I've had a cold recently, like my nose gets super dry. Having this just helps make sure that my skin is really nice and hydrated and glowy, despite the fact that it is absolutely freezing outside, and I just think the cold weather dries it out. This stuff does kind of dry quite tacky, so you have to kind of rub it in relatively quickly, which I guess is kind of like what certain primers do, but I don't use a primer on an everyday basis. If I'm doing like a night out look, full glam, then I would use primer, but not on an everyday basis. And then next is eye cream. I am running out of this. I do have another one actually, a backup in my drawer, but this is just the CeraVe eye repair cream. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if eye cream actually does anything. I can't say I've noticed any difference with any of the eye creams that I've used in the past. Is it necessary to be using on an everyday basis? I'm not sure, but I do feel like skincare in general, obviously it's good for your skin if you use the right products, but I do think that it makes a big difference with makeup application as well. Like when I do my skincare, I feel like my makeup always looks more smooth at the end of it. I can't talk when I'm doing this. And then last but not least, this is the moisturiser I was on about that I use basically every single day when I can't be bothered to do the 3 products that you've just seen. This is just the Ordinary Natural Moisturising Factors and Beta Glucan. They do I think 3 different types of moisturisers, and I've tried all 3 and I like all 3. This is one I got for Christmas last year. That's mad, that's lasted me ages. I used to use the CeraVe moisturiser every single day. But I ran out of that, so I've been using the Ordinary one since. I think I put just way too much on my face right then, but oh well. I also can't rub in my moisturiser with this finger because I've got a band-aid on it, so I'm just awkwardly like this. I think one good thing about me not doing so much recently is that my skin's had a bit of a break because I don't do my makeup routine every single day. Like if I'm not leaving the house or all I'm doing is walking my dog, I'm not going to put makeup on. So the only time I really do it is if I'm seeing friends or going to work. Sometimes I don't even do this for work. Like if I'm just going to the gym and just walking my dog. Sometimes I'll literally just do like a lip and cheek tint and that's it for the day. But this is the routine that I do if I actually have plans. I'm being interrupted by Chester again. Boy, this is becoming a bit of a pattern now, isn't it? Do you want to say hi again? Is anyone else getting deja vu? Because I am. He's people watching out the window. I'm gonna let him stay there, bless him. Right, that is skincare done. So we can now move on to makeup. So the first step, which I don't do every single time, is skin tint. So the Glossier skin tint is my favourite because it doesn't really have any coverage to it. It kind of just blurs your skin out rather than covering anything, which I prefer. I don't like heavy, sticky foundations. Like, I don't like feeling the makeup on my face. So that's why I quite like this. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is like an everyday product. I wouldn't say that this is like an everyday product for me. I kind of just wake up in the morning and decide based on how my skin's looking whether I feel the need to use it. So if I wake up and my skin's quite patchy, or I've got a few like red blotches here and there and I just want to even everything out, I'll do like a few drops on each cheek and my forehead, rub it in. But if I wake up and my skin's looking pretty clear and I don't feel the need to use it, I won't, because I like my makeup to look as like natural as possible. So as few products that I can use, the better. Today, I don't think I need it. My skin's looking very even and quite glowy because I've done my skincare. So I think I'm gonna not bother with skin tint today. We'll just go straight into everything else. But as I say, sometimes I do add this in as a first step if I just want a little bit extra kind of blurring out of my face before I add everything else. Right, so the next thing, which is going to be the first product for today, is this bronzer stick. It's from MUA. It's their beauty balm. Warm Bronze Beauty Balm. Yeah. This stuff, I think I got it for like £3. And it's so smooth and I've been using it loads. I was never really like a big bronzer person because I was always scared that I was going to look like an Oompa Loompa. Because I have blush blindness, which I feel like isn't a problem, but I don't want bronzer blindness, and I was a bit concerned about that. But I usually just do like a line on each cheek, kind of where my cheekbones are, and then on my forehead a little bit. I don't know if that's correct placement. I don't use contour, and I don't even know where contour goes in comparison. I just put it here, because once it's blended out, I quite like how it looks in these places to make my face look a little bit more tanned when I'm pale in the winter. So I have this angled brush, which I also use for powdered bronzer. Cream and powder, I use the same brush, don't know if I should, but I do. And I just blend like upwards and then around into my forehead like that. But it blends really easily, and I feel like you don't need very much as well because it's quite pigmented. I always start out with a little bit and then add more if I feel like it's necessary to do so. One good thing about having my window here is I can just turn and see what it looks like in the natural light. Not that there is very much of it in the winter because the sun like barely rises, may as well not even bother. Okay, that's looking nice. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more on either side of my cheekbones. There's enough on my forehead, but I think I could do with just literally an extra dot on each side. Also, I feel like I'm talking like I'm a professional and I know what I'm doing. I don't. I wing it every single time. So if it sounds like I'm giving a tutorial, this is just what I do. I don't know what's actually the correct way to put on half of this stuff. And then the next thing is concealer. The reason I do my cream bronzer first, I usually would do any cream product, so cream, bronzer or blush before concealer, is because if I go overboard, I can kind of tone it down with the concealer. But I've not really been using cream blush recently. It was my favourite thing during the summer, but I found a powdered blush which I absolutely love, and it's quite pigmented so I don't feel the need to use both, so I've just been using the powdered. But for concealer, this is also from MUA. I don't want it to look cakey, so I try and use as little product as possible. So I usually just do like a little bit on the like inner corner under my eyes, and then a dot on the outside, and then on any blemishes, which today got a little redness under my nose. I usually put concealer there anyway. A little bit of a red patch there, and then it's just my hairline. And then I usually start by blending out like these areas first, and I leave my eyes till last because it lets it sit for a little bit longer. I'm gonna look a bit crazy whilst I do this, just pre-warning. My goal with my everyday makeup routine is kind of like, it's not that I don't want to look like I have makeup on, but I want it to look really natural. Like my skin but better, basically. Which I feel like this does exactly that. I feel like I've nailed it now, and that's why I've been doing the exact same thing for the past like 2 months. There we go, that's concealer finished. And then next thing we move on to is powdered products. As I say, I've been using more powdered products recently than I did in the summer. I basically just use cream products in the summer, but now I've been leaning more to powdered versions. So I have 2 powders. Oh, so I've got the, why do I drop everything? I'm blaming it on you, Trissa. You're distracting me. It's powder. It's powder. Oh, thank you. I'm being poured out. Love you. Anyway, as I was saying, so I have the Glossier loose powder. This one I'm being sat on. So, for the 3rd time, I'll try again. I have the Glossier loose powder, which I use most of the time as like my main powder, and then I also have the Rimmel pressed powder. Favourite pressed and loose powder, and I usually, depending on the day, will use one or the other. I prefer using loose powder for under the eye because I just think, one, this one shade-wise is lighter, so it's more brightening, and also I just think it makes it look smoother. Like this powder is so smooth. When I tried it out in the shop in London in person, I got one of the testers and I was like rubbing it on my hand, and that's what made me get it, because I was like, this literally feels like silk. And then I just have this little powder puff. If I'm doing full glam, I usually use loose powder all over my face, and I like chisel my cheekbones and everything. But for an everyday makeup look, I literally just do that under each eye, and that's it. And then I use a little bit of pressed, which you'll see me do in a minute, on like my forehead and nose, so my T-zone. Just because I do get quite oily there. Obviously it's taking me longer because I'm filming and yapping as well. But usually when I'm just doing this on an everyday basis, I can have this done in like 5-10 minutes. That's usually how long it takes me, which is exactly what I need for days when I'm like running late for work, or I just don't really want to be sat down for half an hour doing my makeup. And then before I brush off the loose powder under my eyes, I'm just going to do powdered bronzer and powdered blush. I know I've already put cream bronzer on, but I do like to do just a tiny bit of powdered bronzer as well. So the bronzer and blush that I've been using every single day basically for the last couple months is from this gift set. There's the Hoola bronzer and the Willa blush. Both are super pigmented, but the blush also has like a shimmer to it, so I don't use highlighter. That kind of just is 2-in-1. But these are the two that I've been basically using every single day, and because they are so pigmented I have to hit a lot of the product off the brush before I put it on my face. Just broke my mirror. There we go. And just a tiny bit over the same spots that we put the cream bronzer stick. And then before I do the blush, I'm just going to brush the powder off from under my eyes. This is my blush brush. I got sad because it keeps breaking, and I'm just hoping that if I keep it kind of screwed on, it's still usable. It's okay. Just a little bit of blush. Pretty similar spot to where I put the bronzer, to be honest, just a tiny bit higher. Okay, so that is basically all of my base products done. I don't do anything else after that. And I always like to set my face before I do brows and eyelashes. So that's what I'm going to do now. This is the one I use. It's from Studio London. It's their Feeling Peachy Dewy Setting Mist. Setting Mist. Wow. Setting Mist. Feeling Peachy Dewy Setting Mist. There we go, that's a mouthful. It smells really nice, this one, and I had just their regular dewy setting mist beforehand, but like this one basically has nothing left in it. So then I got the peach one and I just haven't even bothered to finish the last like 2 sprays left in that. And I usually like to like press the setting spray into the makeup with a sponge. I don't know if this necessarily does very much, but I feel like it just kind of sets it even more than it would if I just kind of let the setting spray dry on its own. I also kind of prefer like how it looks when I use a sponge because it blends everything in, I feel. There we are. That is base completely finished. Which means we're basically at the end of my makeup routine already because the last few steps are really quick and easy. And I don't really do very much to my eyes because my eyes are really sensitive and I do react to eye makeup. I don't put mascara on or much makeup on my eyes anyway. I try and avoid it where possible. I do get my eyelashes and eyebrows tinted every like 6 or so weeks. I had them done I think about 3 weeks ago. But it just means my eyebrows look quite filled in and my eyelashes are darker without having to put any makeup on them, which makes the world of difference, and thankfully my natural eyelashes are quite long. So if I curl them, it looks like I've got mascara on, but I haven't actually got any makeup on. Well, on my eyes. Okay, so for eyebrows, I always just start by brushing them with a spoolie. And as I say, because they're already filled in kind of with the dye that I get done, literally all I do is put clear eyebrow gel on them. This eyebrow gel is the only one that I have used repeatedly. I think I've had like 3 of these. It's just the Collection Clear Lash and Brow Mascara. Who's at my front door? I'll be back. Right, where were we? Eyebrows, yes. So, try and keep them pretty fluffy looking at the front and a little bit more defined at the end. Like so. I never really pay much attention to like making them look symmetrical, to be honest with you. Because I'm not filling them in and I'm just putting gel on, I usually just kind of call it a day. Bro. That's that done. And then for eyelashes, I just curl them. This is my eyelash curler. I got a new one because the other one, like I think I snapped the middle bit so it wouldn't properly clamp anymore. Can you see the difference? And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. That sounded really Australian. Other side. And then the very last thing is lips. I usually just do a lip balm. What I have been using is the Elizabeth Arden 8-Hour Cream. One of my mum's friends recommended this to her when she was having really dry skin. And you can use it on your lips as well. You can basically use it on anything. Sometimes I even put it on my eczema, on my hands. I get really bad eczema in the winter. But it's really good for dry and chapped lips. It's super thick, but it's also tinted. So it looks really pretty and also does the job. And that is my everyday makeup routine. Yeah, this is what the final everyday makeup look looks like. As always, if you did enjoy this video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on post notifications so you're notified every single time I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time for day 3 of Vlogmas. Bye!